no other way is better than email. You know, I know I'm biased, it's what I do, but the reason why I chose it is because I think that there's no better way. But once they are in our audience, our job is as quick as humanly possible to get them on our email list. Big reasons for that. Social media, we're looking at Instagram now, has a 9% of our audience seeing stuff that we create
Mm,
in comparison to email, which is 40, 50, 60+%, depending on your open rate. So for
yeah.
me, I'm going, well, if I'm going to spend 30 minutes an hour creating something, I want 60% of my audience seeing it, not nine. So
Yeah.
it's getting them onto that email list.
I'm your host, Tiffany G, an Australian business and mindset coach with 10 years' experience in online marketing and the creator of the Business Bravery framework. I help coaches to be brave so you can sign more clients even if you hate marketing and sales feel icky. From signing your next paying clients through to launching that dream group coaching program, the Business Bravery framework helps you take bigger leaps without the mindset spirals. It's helped my clients double their investment in me, make thousands of dollars, and truly build their dream business. In this episode, I chatted with Amy Kuphal, who is a lead generation and email marketing specialist and the founder of the Inbox Entrepreneur, a monthly membership that helps online business owners grow their audience, generate more leads, and make more sales, all in a way that feels simple and sustainable. Amy is a fierce advocate for anti-hustle entrepreneurship and is on a mission to help business owners create businesses that don't just look good on paper, but that also feel good. In this episode, I talked with Amy about growing your audience and sales without the burnout. She shared her simple anti-hustle approach to launching, email marketing, and making business feel lighter and more fun. With that said, this is an amazing episode, and I can't wait to share with you Amy's stories of business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I am super excited to talk to my amazing guest this week, the amazing Amy Kuphal. I'm not sure if I pronounced the surname correctly. We just did that, and I'm like, goldfish memory. Okay. But I'm super excited to talk to Amy about all of the brave things that she has going on in her business, past, present, and future. Amy, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. And yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself and like your business and who you help. And yeah, then we'll get into all the brave stuff.
You got it. You got it. That was perfect. Amy Kuphal, you were right on there. So you
Thank
did
you.
get it correct. But yeah, so my name is Amy Kuphal, and I am a lead generation as well as email marketing specialist. And what I do is I help serve coaches, course creators, membership site owners, online business owners, and help them start generating more leads and making more sales through email in a way that does not cost them any more of their time. So I am a huge, huge advocate of what I call anti-hustle entrepreneurship. I think if we are growing our business, especially when we're in that small business stage, we're solopreneurs, we need to be thinking about how can we automate and streamline things as much as possible. If we are ever going to make our business past 1 year, 2 year, 3 year mark, it has to happen or we will 100% burn out. So I love helping entrepreneurs get to that level.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm super excited to talk about this stuff because I'm diving back into email marketing after a break too. So, oh, and I help my clients with email marketing, but I'm also, yeah, I'm very excited to hear your approach and all that sort of stuff too. But before we get into that, tell us what brave things are you doing in your business right now? Things where you're working outside of your comfort zone to grow a little bit and yeah, all of that goodness.
Yeah, I think so. I have just started monthly launching. So I would say that top of mind thing that comes for me, bravery wise, is really getting out and putting myself out there and having these live launches once a month. And I think the bravery for me, though, doesn't come from the live launching itself because I think I'm okay, on camera and speaking with people. I love that sort of thing. I taught for about a decade. So I always say if you can teach and stand up and talk in front of high schoolers who might be the most judgmental people in the world, pretty much any other audience, like I can handle my own, they're going to be a little kinder. So that part alone doesn't bother me. I think the part where I think I have to incorporate a bit of bravery is in detaching from the outcome. So being really enthusiastic about what I'm doing, showing up fully, but not getting tied to how things go because I've found even the last couple months doing month over month launches, they could be vastly different. And I'm presenting the same information. Same lead up email sequence to it. And the results are very different. So being able to be okay with that and just know it's all part of the ride and the journey of entrepreneurship, I think is where that bravery piece comes in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. So, what caused you to start doing monthly launches? And I have so many questions, but I'll just start with that one.
Yeah. So what I did first is my ultra simple email funnel that I did for my membership is that really the people get on my list through a lead magnet. Once they're on, they get nurtured through the welcome sequence, through the email sequence, and then that conversion event is the sales page. So all of that is totally automated, which I think is really great to have some sort of system where someone can enter your world through, I mean, essentially my lead magnet's out there. So someone could find my lead magnet through whatever source I put it out through, get onto my email list. All of my emails are automated, and then they could go ahead and purchase through my sales page without me having to do anything, which is really cool to have those pieces in place. But for the live launches that I'm doing now monthly, because you just see a bit better return. So if you can get people on a live call for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, they get to see you, they get to hear you, they get to experience what you're like, just like what we're doing here on the podcast. And I think that helps people really get a sense of, is this girl my vibe or is she not? And the ones that I'm for are, signing up and they're joining us inside the community. And the ones that are like, she's a little excitable for me, they aren't. But I think that you just see a good conversion with the live events.
Yeah, yeah. So the live event, is that just like a 60-minute or 90-minute, one time thing to watch, or like how, like, because they could be, sometimes they go over days. I've got one coming up which I've split over 3 days. How do you do that for those?
Yeah, so mine currently
Yeah.
stands at just under 90 minutes, a single event. So
Mm,
what I've been doing over the last couple months is that I've launched this masterclass. So the key for me is people are showing up, they're getting a training, and I say right from the top of the call, you are going to get benefit on this masterclass, whether you choose to take the next step with me or not. And that's always my intention because I've been to, I think any of us that have been in business for
yeah.
too long have been to these master classes where it's just like the person talking about how great they are. And if you invest with me, you're going to have this dream life too. And it's like such garbage and fluff. So right off the top, I'm like, that is not what this is. I've been to those. They're horrid. This is an actual master class that you're going to take things from.
Mm,
And at the end of the 90 minutes, if you want to take things further, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that. So
yeah.
that's what we do. And it's like I said, it's a little bit under 90 minutes because I leave some room for Q&A. And
Mm,
then how I've been structuring it is that every month I do 1 week, which is my launch week, and I run 3 separate master classes to give people different times and go from there. Yeah.
mm. Oh, nice. And you mentioned earlier about the sort of like not like the was it anti-hustle, or just, like not being as hustle. How does launching monthly, how do you align that for you in perhaps like not being hustle and all that kind of stuff? Because yeah, I mean at the moment I'm launching every 3 months, and yeah, the idea of launching every month, oh yeah.
Yeah. So yes, yes, and all of that. I hear you and
Mm,
I see you because I think that's such a phenomenal question. It is, I'm someone too, and it's very funny. And maybe your listeners can relate, is that I'm someone I really love people. I love talking to people. And at the same time, I think I'm a bit of an introvert because I definitely get my energy and my fueling from silence, from alone time. So I have found for my personality type, launch week does take a lot out of me. If I'm launching, if I'm running, even though it's 90 minutes out of the day, this webinar, I do leave the webinar drained, as much as
mm,
it's gone well and it's been exciting. So
yeah.
what I've been trying to do is like recognizing that. And on launch days, I try not to schedule a whole lot else on that day because I
Mm.
know that there needs to be that decompression. There needs to be that downtime. So launch week is truly launch week. And I really try to move everything else that's not that to somewhere else in my schedule, not that week. Also, saying that now I'm running it 3 times a week. My full intention is to eventually have it be automated, but at this point, I like it live. I think you get a ton of feedback. It's going to help shape what that webinar is going to look like down the line. So I think it's worth the energy drain. And
Yeah,
I run
I've
the same
found that.
webinar over and over.
Mm.
I'll say that too.
Mm.
That is the other
Yeah.
anti-hustle piece. I am not remaking this webinar every time. It's one slide deck. It's at this point, I could
Yeah.
probably do it with my eyes closed.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. How many months have you been running it where you've been doing it monthly and running that same webinar for?
This is my third month of doing it that way.
Mm. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did mine, even though I was doing them every 3 months because like we were doing planning for the next quarter. Yeah, I started in December last year, but this time around I'm actually changing it up and incorporating some more like marketing stuff instead of just the planning and mindset side, so that I'm sort of showcasing all of what I've got to, or like a little bit of all I've got to offer, and it showcases a bit more of what it's like to work with me and the approach and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So yeah, now I've got to do the new slide deck, which is hard because before it was just like, oh, same slide deck, I know what I'm doing. And now it's like, ah,
Right. It's right. And it takes, it's funny because I think I found everything in business tends to take at least twice as long, at least for me, as I initially expect. I'm one of those people that's just like, this will take me 10 minutes, like 6 hours later, I'm still working on it. So I think that, I mean, that's another like a side tip, right? Isn't it? Like give ourselves time and a half of what we actually need, or we'll be packing our
yeah,
schedule too thick.
yeah, yeah. I definitely find that if it's something I've got to play around with on the website or something, that like it should just take 10 minutes and suddenly it's an hour and a half and it's like, I was just getting this thing to line up. And yeah, I feel that.
Hmm.
So yeah. Oh, okay. So then, like, tell us a little bit more about like your approach to email marketing. Like, I'd love to hear a bit more about like how you help people with that and, reducing time while doing all that. I mean, I know you talked about automation, but is there like a bit more to it or yeah.
Yeah, so I think what it was is so I've been in business now in some capacity, either part-time or full-time for about 13 years, coming up on 13 years. So a good amount of time. I started off in the fitness and wellness space and then pivoted into business coaching and then streamlined a little bit more down into lead gen and email marketing. And what I did, so the big realization again, from pivoting from a brick and mortar fitness space to the online space, I think I definitely underestimated how much time it takes to market effectively. Because
Mhm.
in the previous role, people would come into the gym. I was one of maybe 6 trainers. They were already working out. They saw me working with other clients. They approached me, and I had my full client list pretty easily without doing a whole ton of marketing. Pivoting into the online space, I think we need to take a totally different approach because when I'm sitting here on my computer typing away, nobody sees me. Nobody's in my house being like, oh, I want to work with that girl. So it's like we really have to be very strategic about marketing and do it in a way that's not going to totally exhaust us. So basically, I didn't know that at first because we learn as we go as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I had spent about 2.5 years working 50 plus hour weeks, week over week. I'm also the single parent to a beautiful 12-year-old girl. We homeschool. So there was a lot of balls in the air, single parenting and homeschooling and running my own business and all the things. And it got to the point that I always kept pushing. And I'm like, if I just around the corner from things getting easier and just around the corner from my schedule being lighter. And the mentality was if I just push a little bit harder, I'll eventually arrive at this place where things get easy.
Mm.
Newsflash, that doesn't happen unless we build it into our schedule.
Yeah.
Things do not get easier. Some magic fairy dust doesn't come and like reduce our hours like all of a sudden, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it really was at like a pivotal point that I have with my daughter where I said, I need to make things a little more simple. I need to streamline so that I'm not working 50 plus hours a week. And that's where all of the starting points of what I do and teach now came from. And really that all breaks down to I had said to myself, okay, if I'm looking at all of the things that we all have to do as business owners to have a thriving business, if I stripped it down to the most basic components, what are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that have to happen? Let me get really good at those things and really hyper focused on those things and forget the rest. And
Yeah.
that really comes down to 4 things. It's how do we grow our audience? So how do we get more eyes and ears on our stuff? How do we get them onto our email list? How do we nurture them via email? And then how do we convert to sales? Nothing outside of that really needs to happen for you to be pretty successful and have a 6-figure business if you can nail those 4 parts.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So can we just go through the 4 parts again? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
what I ended up doing is the framework that I
Mm.
created from this originally for
Mm.
myself, honestly, because I needed to streamline my own business. And then now it's what I teach. It's called the
Mm.
lead generation pyramid. So at the very base of it, that's audience members. So the first thing that
Yeah.
we want to think about is how do we get people that have never heard us,
Mm.
seen us, whatever, into our world? How do we get eyes and ears on us in relation to our offer? So once
Mm.
we do that, someone is now an audience member. So that can be anything.
Yeah.
That can be if we post a little bit on social media, someone sees us. That could be as simple as we're going to the checkout at grocery and someone's talking to us and we talk about our offer. That person's now heard of our offer or our business. They are
Yeah.
now technically an audience member, right? So it's really
Mhm.
coming up with what works for you, what works for you energetically, where are your people? How can we find one way to
Mm.
consistently get in front of new people to get more eyes and ears on our stuff? From
Mm.
there, I think no other way is better than email. You know, I know I'm biased, it's what I do, but the reason why I chose it is because I think that there's no better way. But once they are in our audience, our job is as quick as humanly possible to get them on our email list. Big reasons for that. Social media, we're looking at Instagram now, has a 9% of our audience seeing stuff that we create
Mm.
in comparison to email, which is 40, 50, 60+%, depending on your open rate. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm going, well, if I'm going to spend 30 minutes an hour creating something, I want 60% of my audience seeing it, not 9. So
Yeah.
it's getting them onto that email list. I do it through a lead magnet. Once they're on our email list, we now have a direct line of communication with them where I
Mm.
can write an email once, hit
Yeah.
send. If I have
Mm.
10 people on my list, if I have 10,000 people on my list, it's taking me the
Mm.
same amount of effort to write that email.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so phenomenal. It's like as we grow our list, it's you don't have to work more to get more results.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
from there, it's really moving. Okay, so now they're a lead. Let's move them up to that third level of the pyramid, which is aligned prospect. So
Mm.
that's really looking at this is where we're kind of doing that sifting. So someone's
Mm.
on our list, they might have just heard about our freebie and said, yeah, sure, let me download it. It's in that aligned prospect zone that we're really doing the sorting. So it's really helping people identify, are they aligned with what we offer? So do they actually need or want what we offer? Are they
Mm.
aligned with our values and vibe? Because even if someone really likes my coaching style, my email marketing style, if they're like, I don't like what she stands for, I don't like, I'm pretty soft spoken, she's not so much, they might not align on that. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah.
Next is, can they afford our offer? And I
Mm.
always say this one with a little caveats because can they afford our offer? What I mean is quite literally, can they afford it? Many times I have coaches come to me and they say, I've heard a couple people say they can't afford my offer. It's too expensive. Should I reduce my price?
Mm.
99% of the time, it's not a matter of reducing your price. It's a matter of better words to convey your value.
Yeah. Mm.
So really
Agree
it's,
with that.
could they actually, if they truly totally wanted it, they see the relevance of it, do they actually have the funds available to get that thing? If it's yes, that's the
Mm.
third point of alignment. And then fourth point of alignment is, have we handled all their objections? So once
Mm.
they're aligned on all 4 levels, they are now an aligned prospect. And the only job left is to send that direct sales email saying, here's my stuff. Do you want it? We'll dress it up a
Mm.
little bit better than that, but essentially, here's the offer. Would you like it? And all of
Yeah.
that can be done through automation, the whole
Mm.
process.
Yeah, yeah. And is that like, do you do it where there's like a couple of emails on like on one part of the alignment and then a couple of emails on the objections and like is it like that or do you manage to cover it in an email each and or yeah.
Yeah. So whenever someone comes into my world via email, so they jump on my list, they're automatically going to get a welcome sequence. So the
Mm.
point of that is essentially just welcoming them into my world, letting them know what to expect, letting them know a little bit about the offer, a little bit about, who I am, what our community is all about. And the way I like to phrase this is I would say the welcome sequence is the most important email sequence that you're going to send,
Mm.
because this is what's going to help really welcome. I mean, it's called a welcome sequence, welcome someone into your world. And I envision it like in real life, if someone were to knock on our door and they were to walk in our house and we said nothing to them, we were just silent and they were just looking around and we just like lips are
Yeah.
zipped and we're just, that is so awkward. Like we don't want to be awkward in the inbox. Like we need to, someone just walked into your inbox house. You need to greet
Yeah.
them, show them
Yeah.
around, give them the tour, be hospitable in you're welcome here. We need to do that. So I think number one, that's our welcome sequence. It's got to happen no matter what. If you do nothing else, like
Yeah.
that's the sequence to send. From
Mm.
there, I always do a couple direct sales emails right after that. And I've heard people
Mm.
say, well, should you not offer to sell right away? These people just jumped into your world. Should you
Mm.
wait? Should you nurture them for 3 months, 6 months before you put a sales sequence in? Absolutely
Mm.
not. I get the
Yeah.
idea, behind
Yeah.
that, but the analogy that I heard that I think will forever stick with me is there are people that are going to be jumping on any of our lists. And the
Mm.
point that they're jumping on our list is the point that they're likely most interested in solving the problem that they have.
Yeah.
We're doing them a disservice if we say, I know you have this really awful problem that you're trying to solve, but I'm not going to let you have the best way to solve that for another 6 months. And
Mm.
the analogy that I heard was that if someone came rushing into a hospital and the doctor was there and their leg was like cut and it was like bleeding and they were like this awful pain and they come running and they're like, doctor, like I really need help, you need to stitch me up. And the doctor sat them down and was like, let me tell you about my credentials. I went to Harvard Medical School and I've served many people just like you with awful leg injuries. Like that is not good practice. Like this person is in a horrible pain point. They want the solution. They don't want to hear about your backstory. There are going to
Yeah.
be people that jump on our email list that fit that avatar. We need to give them the opportunity to move forward right away. And
Yeah.
it's not some like over the top salesy email. It's just saying, here's what I have. Here's what it's about. Here's my sales page to learn more. From
Yeah.
there, we've handled all the people that really need that solution right away. From there, that's
Mm.
where we're going to see a lot more of that educational content, that nurturing going
Mm.
on. And then following that, I tend to do another conversion event. So like the webinar. So
Mm.
we've had people that didn't take on the sales page, either they weren't ready or they didn't get as much
Yeah.
information as they needed. They didn't get a sense of our vibe as much as they needed. Then we're
Mm.
going to say, okay, now I have this live event if you want to come to that. We'll let
Mm.
people go through that sequence. If that doesn't work, I've also am playing with at this point. I haven't done it yet, but it's probably coming next in my sequence, is starting to splinter my offer. So my main offer is a full membership, right? So
Yeah.
instead of that, I might start pulling out a piece or two and saying, hey, maybe you're not right for the membership just yet. Here's this one-off training that you can get for it, not a recurring fee. It's just this one thing that
Mm.
that'll get people into
Yeah.
your world too. And I think
Yeah.
that's really important because the other thing too is I think the stat now was like crazy. It was like the percentage of people that will buy from you the first time of like all
Yeah.
the people that hear about your offer is between 5 to 20%. The
All
percentage
right.
of people that repeat buy is between
Yeah.
60 and 70%.
Yeah.
So a lot of the goal, no matter, which way we're splintering our offer, is to get people to make that initial purchase, to see
Yeah.
that we're a trustworthy brand, to see that they're getting value from us, because the amount of the chance that they're going to repurchase from you is so much higher than that first purchase.
Coaches, if you're feeling frustrated that you're doing all the things but still not signing clients, this is for you. You're a new coach, you know coaching can change lives, and you're ready to sign your first two or more high ticket paying clients already, but it's just not happening. You're posting content, you're showing up, but your inbox is crickets, while your coach friends seem to be signing clients left and right with ease. You're starting to wonder, is it my offer? My niche, or maybe is it just me? Well, let me tell you, it's not just you. And you don't need another freebie or some vague advice that's not going to work for you. You need a clear, repeatable strategy and support that gets you focused on the right tasks. That's exactly what we do inside the Brave Coach Breakthrough, my 3-month one-on-one coaching program for new coaches who are ready to finally sign their first two or more high ticket clients. We blend practical marketing foundations with the mindset work that actually gets results because I know what it's like to think, who am I to be a coach? Can I really charge that much? I don't want to be too salesy. And my clients, they've been there too, and I've helped them move through it. Like my client M, who signed her first 2 clients in 60 days without a big launch. Another client, D, who booked her first discovery call within 3 weeks of working with me and signed her first paying client a few weeks later. Or Tracy and Jess, who launched their first group program, signed their first 4 clients, and doubled their investment in me. You can do this too with the right support. We'll build your signature coaching package, clarify your message, the exact words you want to be using, and create a client signing strategy that feels like you, feels like the right fit for your personality. The whole program is designed to double your investment and make sure you have repeatable systems to keep signing clients well into the future. I have 4 spots open at the time of recording, but these will go fast. Book your free strategy call at tiffanyGstudios.com, Tiffany, G for golf, Studios.com, or find me over on Instagram at Tiffany G Studios, exact same spelling, no spaces, no underscores, and DM me the word breakthrough or just say, hi, I heard you on the podcast. You can be the coach who gets paid to change lives. Let's make it happen. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked your analogy about the
Mhm.
the being in the emergency room and the bleeding and stuff like that. I also like the idea of telling somebody, the actual giving them the whole sales pitch at the beginning. Because if somebody's like not ready to buy yet, at least they know it's like, oh, is this for me? Do I keep following? And like it can get like it just tells them what you're about, who you like, how you help them, and all of that too. So I think I really
Yeah.
like that approach of just getting into it, getting into the sales early and stuff like that. I know a lot of my clients are concerned about, oh, being too salesy too early. And I really like, I appreciate that. I feel like when you talk to people who've been in business a bit longer, a lot of us just like, yeah, let's just get it out there. Like, yes, we want to nurture and we want to provide value, but also we need to tell people that we can help them. And yeah, I really like that approach.
And I think too, to piggyback on that,
Hmm.
if you don't sell from the start, you put yourself in a really tough position because someone could land on your email list, your newsletter list, and you're doing nothing. You've not even told them you're a business owner. They might, for all we know, they might think you're just running this newsletter. So now we're educating over, I don't know, 3 months, and all of a sudden you sell something, you make a sales offer. It can tick
Yeah.
people off, which is a funny thing that happens, but people can get annoyed and say, well, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't know you were going to be selling to me. So right off the bat, if you're saying, hey, I'm a business owner, this is how I make money, and I'm also showing up to really offer you some high level value as well, you're going to get both. Then people
Yeah.
can choose right from the start whether they want to hang around or not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's such a great insight and I really like that. So I was wondering too, like for your clients or the people in your membership, what kind of brave things do they have to do for tackling emails? Like where are your people at and what do you help them through in that sense?
Yeah, I think number one is getting visible.
Mm,
Showing up, feeling like any of us have the authority to actually show up weekly
yeah.
for people. It requires us understanding that we can take up space and it's okay and it's welcomed. People are
Yeah.
signing up for our email list. They are saying we want to hear from you. So to understand and actually be able to internalize that that's true,
Mm,
I think is a hurdle for some people to get over. I think the brave things recently, I had a member who had had built a phenomenal email list. She had built her email list prior to joining my membership to 3,000 people,
mm.
really knows her stuff in terms of her content, but hadn't emailed her list for over 2 years. So she had
Oof,
this
yeah.
awesome email list and she had this opt-in page on her website. So people come to her website because of the amazing educational content. Then they opt in for a newsletter, but she hasn't been emailing them. So her
Mm,
brave step that we actually have a one-on-one call coming up is to actually craft that email sequence that's going to reintroduce her to her list. Say, I know, and I always take it as like joking, like, hey, I'm sorry,
yeah.
I've been a terrible friend for the last 2 years, but here I am, I'm back. Here's the way that I'm going to be showing up for you. But just I
Mm,
know that email for her is going to be a brave step because she's
yeah.
nervous about jumping back in after that long.
Yeah, yeah. I have a similar issue too. Like I have like a certain section of my list, not people who've signed up too recently, although they haven't received anything yet. But yeah, just like I've got people who signed up years ago when I was a different person. Like, I mean, not a different person, but my business was different and I was helping people with video or I was helping people with launching the various pivots. And that's part of what holds me back to message those people. It's just like how do I explain the two or three pivots? Like I've done more pivots than a ballerina. Oh, maybe that could be my subject line.
That
Okay.
is it. No, that is
Yeah.
100% because that was going to be my unsolicited advice to you. Make it fun. Because
Yeah.
everyone on our list is human. Like we
Yeah.
all go through the same things. It might be polished up a little different, but we're all human. And I think as
Yeah.
much as we can make a joke about it, like I love that. And I think you need to 100% use that. I've done more pivots than a ballerina. It gets people laughing. And then it's like, okay, this is what's going on. But like every person in the world, I'm still
Mhm.
trying to figure things out. And when you work
Yeah.
with me, like you're going to get this level of expertise and you're going to get authenticity,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
that. That's golden.
Mm,
The golden nugget
yeah.
of the episode right there.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, yeah, it's really weird. Like, I know that this is gonna sound strange, but it's like I've been easing back into the whole email marketing and like I've created my quiz that'll be coming out soon, but I'm that's on hold while I do the master classes and things. But yeah, yeah, it's just like this has been really great timing for me on a personal note, is what I'm trying to say in terms of just like, yes, the universe is definitely nudging me like, hey, this needs to happen now. Come on,
Yeah.
let's
And
get
I
back
bet you're going to
into
get
it.
so many supportive
Mm,
emails. Like when you send that, you're going to get people being like, oh my gosh, thank you. Because everybody else is going through the same thing, and
yeah,
just
yeah,
voicing it, I think is such a gift to people.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because it's funny, like whenever I had clients who hadn't emailed for a long time, I just like kind of like, and I'd received advice from other people. So rather than necessarily focusing too long on the, where I've been, but just start with providing value. And if you help them, like that's a great way to sort of come back. But yeah, then I got into the perfectionist side of like, that's got to be, it needs to be amazing because yeah, it's been a couple of years.
No, I
Yeah.
think if it's light, if it's funny, it
Yeah.
provides value. The only word of advice that I would
Yeah.
offer, because I've had this happen to me and it's like
Yeah.
awful, is
Yeah.
I've had people that I maybe got on their email list years ago and they
Mm.
had an email and all of a sudden they jump back to weekly emails. Now at this point, I've forgotten why I was ever on their list. So they did
Mm.
no like, hey, so sorry I've been absent, or hey, this is what it was, just straight back into emails as if like 2 years hadn't happened. So
Ah,
one, you run the
yeah.
risk of ticking people off because they're
Mm.
like, what are you like? I don't even know who you are. Two, you're going to run the risk of people reporting it as spam because they don't know
Yeah.
they don't remember getting on your list. So they're just going to hit spam versus unsubscribe. And then
Yeah.
also, I just think it feels weird. Like again, it happened to me about a month ago
Mm.
and it was just strange because I'm in a different spot in my business now
Mm.
than I was two
Yeah.
years ago when I might have opted onto that list. So for me,
Yeah.
it felt like there needed to be a permission. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
something that I always encourage my members to, just saying,
Mm.
hey, I've been doing more pivots than a ballerina. Here's what's been going on in my life. Here's how I'm going to
Yeah.
be showing up going forward every single week, providing you value about this. If you'd
Mm.
like to stay on board, great. You don't have to do anything else. If you'd
Yeah.
rather not, make sure you
Yeah.
click the unsubscribe underneath. I want to make sure I'm not, sending you stuff that you don't want. I think just even having that,
Yeah.
showing
Mm.
them that you care enough about them that you're asking permission goes a
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. And actually, and that just made me think of the other reason that I've been putting this off for so long too, is like the unsubscribes and like just knowing that
Oh.
there's probably gonna be
Oh
like
my God.
a bigger
Okay, I
number of
wrote a blog.
unsubscribes.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I wrote both an Instagram post and a blog post about that this week. I will send
Yeah.
it to you. And it was all about unsubscribes and what unsubscribes actually mean and what unsubscribes do not mean. Because you are
Ooh.
not the only one that gets worried about that. I have a number of members that say, oh my God, it's awful when people unsubscribe, but it's truly one of the best things that you can see happen without, going into the full blog post. So you can make that available.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
the main point there is that our job, like I said, when we think about that pyramid, we think about audience on the bottom, leads that are on our list, align prospect. It is our job through our emails to
Mm.
sort through the people that are meant to be on the list and the people that aren't. So the more we
Yeah.
can show up with full authenticity, the more that we can really lean into who we are, what we're doing, that's
Yeah.
going to make people unsubscribe because there's some people that don't really want what we're offering, or some people that might have a different vibe than
Mm.
us. So
Yeah.
the more unsubscribes, not, I wouldn't say the
Yeah.
more unsubscribes you get, but if you're
Yeah.
getting a high number of unsubscribes, that means that you're doing your job right. The people
Yeah.
that don't get a lot of unsubscribes, I tend to find their content is pretty vanilla, pretty
Mm.
bland. So as much as they're not seeing unsubscribes, they're likely also not seeing a lot of sales.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's always that managing the ego
Yeah.
and the handling of rejection versus understanding of like, oh, like, I mean, I used to like, wish my unsubscribers well and just be like, yeah, they'll find the right person and things like that. But yeah, it's just the idea of seeing that bigger number and knowing that I mean, actually, if I think about it, even if I had have emailed those people like every week for the last couple of years, they would have probably dropped off because I was doing those pivots anyway. So it's just catching up on 2 years of unsubscribes, perhaps, you know.
Yeah, and really, I think the stat is like a 2%. I'll have to double check. Don't fact check me on that. But for
Yeah.
every email that you sent, there's a small percentage that you should expect every single
Oh,
email that you're
yeah.
seeing unsubscribes. So it's like, I
Yes.
don't think
Yeah.
there's an email that I sent, maybe rarely, that I don't see at least one
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
unsubscribe. But on the
Yeah.
other end of it, I'm bringing in 300 new
Mm.
leads a month. So it's like if
Mm.
I have two
Yeah.
people dropping off per email, but I have 300, 325 coming in, it's really not a
Mm.
big deal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, tell me more about your 300 new leads per month. Is that just with posting your lead magnets out there and all of that goodness, or do you run
Yeah.
ads or yeah.
No, so I've not done paid ads yet for it. I've been averaging about between 280 and 325 organic free leads per month through my lead magnet right now.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of podcast guesting. I do a lot of bundle collaborations. That's been really helpful. And
Mm.
then I think so, number one, that audience building. So making sure that you're getting out there, people are learning about you, learning about your
Mm.
offers. That's going to help with really building your list pretty quickly. And then the
Yeah.
second piece is having a really well optimized opt-in page. So I
Mm.
actually just prior to jumping on this call was I had someone who's thinking about being a member inside the membership send me her opt-in page and say, can you just review this? Any tips and pointers that you would give me? There were a
Mm.
number of things. And the reason why she had sent it is because her opt-in page wasn't performing as well as she would like. And
Yeah.
instantly there were a number of things that I saw on her opt-in page that I know were leading to a low conversion rate. So I would say, yes, get out there, but also make sure that you're doing certain things to make sure that your opt-in page is set up to really pull the right people in and to be
Yeah.
high converting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Such great points. And yeah, definitely got to look at those numbers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Awesome. Okay, so in terms of bravery, then, like, how did you get started in your business? Like, I don't know if you want to talk about this business or your previous business where you were doing yoga. Am I remembering that correctly? So, yeah, like, tell me like some brave things that you had to do to get started for those in the audience who are just at the very beginning.
Yeah, so I started out. So I started in the fitness and wellness space. I was doing personal training, nutrition counseling. That was in about 2009. I think I got my initial certification. So I was doing that alongside teaching in public school. So my business was part-time. My full-time was teaching in public. I taught up through COVID, which was in and of itself a fun teaching experience when you're teaching high school. And basically it had, like many teachers, had been having this feeling of like, you know what, this isn't quite the path for me. COVID itself revealed a lot of things about how our education system in the United States is structured, how administration handled it, really to the point that I knew that it wasn't the right
Mm.
continue to the path to continue. So at that point, I had dropped the teaching career altogether and pivoted to now what's my full-time business working for myself. So I think that was a brave leap. Again, being a single parent, I think makes everything a lot scarier. Prior to having a child, I think nothing scared me ever. I would solo travel around the world. I was like jumping on the back of mopeds with I just like things that probably should have scared a normal human did not. I lived for adventure. I had my daughter, and now like everything scares me. So leaving that job, I think was really scary because there wasn't a plan B. So really it was just saying, let me save up enough money to give myself a runway where I feel like I've given myself a long enough runway that I can really take a real shot at this business thing, but also enough of a runway. But if I get to that halfway, three-quarter point and it's not going how I expect, I have enough time to rebound and pick up some paid work. So
Mm.
that I think anytime we jump into entrepreneurship, and I've had people ask me, should I build my business alongside my corporate career or should I quit
Mm.
altogether because then I have more time? So it's, do I have the money coming in or do I have the time to work on it? That I think is a personal decision. There's
Mm.
benefits to both. I think,
Yeah.
in completely cutting it off, you have all the time in the world, which is beautiful. You also don't have that energy drain of a job that you no longer want to be at. And that's really
Yeah.
helpful. But you also have that fear and you have that clock ticking in your head. I know I did.
Yeah.
This has to work. And every day you're saying, oh my gosh, like it needs to work by tomorrow. It needs to work by tomorrow. And that can and be tough as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me, I had a part-time day job while I was building my business on the side, which gave me all the room for all of the pivots and things like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm like my business is my full focus in terms of like income at the moment. However, like I still don't run it full time, but yeah, I did like that. For me, I liked that safety net of having some money coming in and knowing that I could make mistakes in the beginning and that kind of thing. So yeah, like that.
In hindsight,
I
I think I would have done the part-time as well.
Oh really?
So yeah, in hindsight, I think I would have moved to part-time because it's like you think
Mm,
that all the time is going to be a good thing. I
yeah,
don't know. I think
yeah.
having, like you said, having some sort of safety net
Mm.
makes you operate a little bit differently.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on the person, and I know like I've seen a lot of people who can just make it work. For me, even after I did this, like I did 6 years of like part-time work and business, and I'd have a lot of ebbs and flows because sometimes it just like it'd all get a bit too much, and then I'd just like pull back from the business. So yeah, like it took longer. It took longer. When I finally went sort of like full time in my business, that's when like I immediately lost two regular clients in the first month. And I went, oh,
Oh my God,
like
isn't
I
it
like
awful?
service-based clients at the time. And it was just like, oh, okay.
Oh my God, it's so scary. I was chatting with someone today about how it's such a roller coaster. It is such
Mm,
a roller coaster. It's like 1 second you're, at the top and everything's great, and the next second it's like the launch failed and like this didn't work, and you're like, oh my God. So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
hanging on. It's just hanging on for the ride, I think.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So did you have any like shifts like in sort of your mindset or anything so like to get started in terms of like coaching and that kind of stuff or the email marketing, like did you do services before you did coaching on that stuff or just went straight into coaching? Yeah.
Yeah, so I did one-on-one first. I thought that
Mm,
that was, a good way to start. And I always recommend people, if they can, do some one-on-one work before getting into creating a membership or a course or something like that. Because I think you learn so much having one-on-one time. Like you really get in deep, you get your finger on the pulse of what people are actually thinking and experiencing. So I did a
yeah.
lot of that with the business coaching, which is what really made me move towards the lead gen and email marketing because that's what people were struggling with. We were teaching across 26 different topics, but the one that was highest on their list is I need to get more people seeing my stuff and understanding why they should work with me. So it's
Yeah.
lead gen and it's messaging, really.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's the bulk of what I do for people too, is like, especially because I started out in copywriting and everything back in 2011. A lot of what I do with my clients comes back to the messaging and those foundations. And yeah,
I
it's
didn't even know that about you. That's so fun. I didn't know you had a copywriting background. So yeah, but it's true. It's like, and I've heard other people say as well, like
mm,
95% of your problems can be solved with better copy. And I agree.
yeah.
I think it's just so important because we have so many people, especially in the coaching space, that really know their stuff. They're phenomenal coaches, but it doesn't matter
Mhm.
how good of a coach we are if we can't get people into our membership
Yeah.
or our
Yeah,
course,
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, and it's just that balance of like just getting more eyeballs and then, like having more people say yes and just yeah.
And doing it on
Mm.
automation because that's the other thing. It's like if we go,
Mm,
all right, now I'm in marketing mode and I'm out there and I'm trying to get clients and I'm doing all this stuff. And then you fill your book and now you're serving your clients, but you're not
yeah.
marketing because you don't have enough time.
Oh
It
yeah.
becomes this weird ebb and flow where it's like you're like insanely marketing because you're low and now you're like super crunch for time because you're serving. So it's
Mm,
like again going back to like what parts can be automated so that you have time
yeah.
to both market and serve.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've just found for me, like, and this is something that I need to work on, like, for a bit like you said with the whole like live launch and that kind of thing. It's like when I get on calls with people, like, that's when people sort of really see my stuff. And I have often found it hard to regenerate that, like, in emails or even in content and that kind of thing, like written content, even though, like, copywriting, I just feel like yeah, like when people like just there's a certain amount of like trust and all that stuff that comes through when you're just like on a call with someone. Yeah. Do you have any advice for me on that as I build those other skills on the
Yeah.
inside of things? Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree. Like, I feel the same way too. It's like if we could just get people into a conversation, like I always think if I could just get people into a conversation, then we
Yeah.
can, because then you can feed off of each other's energy,
Yeah.
all of that good stuff happens. But I'm like, okay, Amy, but that's not scalable. Like, can't have a conversation
Yes.
with
This
50 million
problem is
people
not
as we're trying
scalable.
to scale. Right.
Yeah.
So a couple of things, just one-off things that I've played with, even for my own podcast, is doing live coaching calls. Like I did that for a while. So on my own podcast, because I'm like, that gives someone else the chance to see what it's like to be coached.
Yeah.
And then they can hear you, they can see you. If you upload it to YouTube, they can get, an idea there. So really
Yeah.
that, and then the other tip, just even like I think you probably know as a copywriting tip, one of the things that I do a lot is I constantly am leaving myself voice notes. And then I'm just using a transcription software to dictate the voice note and have
Mm.
that be my copy. Because I think when
Yeah.
I go to write copy, it like comes off like overly polished. Or I'm like, that is not my personality. Like I'm reading my own copy that I wrote, and I'm like, that's not my brand voice, like not at all.
Mm.
But if I can
Yeah.
just dictate what I say, it
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, this is the interesting sort of perhaps like the downside of having started in copywriting. Like I tell my clients like, oh, just get on, record a voice note and that becomes your post. And because often they struggle with the writing, but see, like I grew up loving writing. So yeah, it's actually that's a really great tip to just sort of keep it in that voice and rather than the like even though my like I've learnt to write the way that I speak, it's still probably not 100%. Yeah, because when I'm speaking, I have half sentences and I don't finish them.
Right.
That's
And
fine.
that's what I always say too, like, especially when we're talking about email, it's like people will come into my membership and they'll say, but I'm not a great writer. I'm going to tell you right now, I am not like some outstanding writer. Like, I don't have this huge writing background, but I've learned to be effective with email marketing because the writing that your English teacher would have pinned up on our bulletin
Oh yeah,
board is not
yeah,
the writing that really succeeds in the inbox. And the way
yes,
I feel like that, what makes sense to me is I'm like, okay, even if I think about my own behavior as a consumer, if I'm
mm,
sitting on my couch reading a beautifully written novel, I'm in
yeah,
one headspace. If I'm
mm,
jumping into my inbox to see like what fire I have to put out, like I'm in a different headspace. I'm not looking for flowery language. I'm looking for like the main points, short sentences in and out. So the
yeah,
people that say, well, I'm not a great writer, I'm like, well, perfect. Can you
yeah,
talk? Can you have a conversation?
yeah,
Like you're gonna be fine writing emails,
yes,
you
yeah,
know? And then another like and maybe you've heard this as well, a cool copywriting tip that I heard recently was write your first draft. So you're going to write your whole email and then come up with a list of, have, a list that's pre-composed of words or phrases that you often say and also different ideas that you like. Or so this one copywriter, she was talking about how like she'll sub in for any cliches that she sees. She'll sub in certain words or phrases that she uses instead, or certain things about her. Like I am the biggest, I live in New England. I live in, so United States, East Coast, New England. I would gladly eat or drink anything that starts with pumpkin spiced. Like that is just people that know me, like get the girl a pumpkin spice latte, give her some Uggs and a North Face jacket. She's gonna be real happy. So I'll start incorporating that into some of my coffee and some, might say coffee,
mm,
copy, really just being like, even if I was writing a sentence, be like, oh, it was greater than a hot pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. People start to go, oh my gosh, okay, now I know what she's about
yeah,
because we're incorporating our personality. And that doesn't mean you're a
yeah.
phenomenal writer.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny actually, like people like I've had to advise clients of this stuff too. And like actually, what is it? My all these years of marketing and writing and copywriting has actually destroyed my English level. Like if I wanted to write a novel or anything, I don't know how I would go because I'm so used to just writing in spoken word English, which is not perfectly written English by any means at all. So yeah, and then I heard that like some copywriters they actually put spelling mistakes and things in stuff on purpose, especially like if they're doing stuff with like ManyChat and the bots, so that it feels like somebody's typing and they've done a typo and it feels more real. So if the
Oh my
marketers are
God.
doing that,
I'm like, okay, so as much as I'm not a writer, I am
yeah,
like a bit of a grammar police. That I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could intentionally put a typo in.
I
That would
haven't done
take a
it
huge
intentionally.
bravery Tiffany,
Yeah.
bravery. We talk about bravery. That would take a huge act of bravery on my part if I were to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I haven't done it intentionally, but I have like when I'm typing, I often have like the word this, the H and the I will be round the wrong way or something because I'm typing so quickly. And so, and then if I'm typing on my phone, it's a nightmare of going back and fixing things because I don't like autocorrect because it pops up and it annoys me. So
Mhm.
yeah, but there's definitely been times where I've had a typo in something and I've left it in there so that people, like I've seen it, it's gone out, and just rather than being like, oh dear God, it's just like, oh yep, you know what? This is me doing what I tell people to do. Like I didn't put it in there on purpose. I haven't crossed that line, but it's always been comforting to know that there are marketers out there who, do that to seem more relatable and things like that. And so it's just like,
That's
oh, you
so
know what? I
funny.
can make mistakes. It can be okay to make the odd mistake. And yeah,
Right. And I think
or
that's a
type.
great sorting system. Anyone that's going to be overly offended that you made a typo in
Yeah.
your email and they're going to unsubscribe, you probably don't want them on your list to begin with. So
Yes.
we'll throw
Yeah.
a few in and they can sort themselves out.
Yeah, yeah. For me, yeah, I don't enjoy working with hardcore perfectionists like that. I had a perfectionist parent and I have those perfectionist tendencies, and it's like I don't need the extra pressure of somebody. Yeah, so I don't mind that sorting hat type approach too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's good. That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, so what brave things do you have coming up in your business in the next 3 to 6 months?
I think it's just you know what? I think, that's a good question. Coming up the next 3 to 6 months, bravery.
Yeah. Oh, it's up to you. Pick your time frame. I choose 3 to 6, but maybe you're not a planner. Not everybody is like, yeah. So
Yeah,
don't
definitely.
feel
So
held.
how I tend to plan, I'll say this, how I tend to plan is I do a launch debrief. So within the business, I'm launching it now monthly. I'm hoping to scale back to, every other month eventually. But I do a launch debrief, and instead of planning out, 3 to 6 months, typically what I'll do is I'll do my launch debrief. I'll say what worked well, what didn't work well, and what pivot or adjustment can I make for next month. So I tend to plan that far out only because I found that when I plan too far out, like I'm awful at predicting the future.
Yeah.
And so it almost feels to me like I'm like, oh, I'm wasting my time because I don't know,
Mm.
but I can
Mm.
I can make an adjustment off of the launch. So I think maybe the brave things, I don't know how brave it is, but I think the next goals for that is going to be starting to automate a little bit more and trust that that will still sustain.
Mm. Yeah. And when you say automate a bit more, like what does that look like, or like what would your first steps be for that automation?
I'm looking to get that webinar automated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from everything that I've heard, when you have an automated webinar versus a live webinar, you are going to see a lower conversion rate on that. However, my thinking here is yes, even if the webinar conversion rate is lower, my ability to get that out to way more people than hosting, like I said, right now I'm hosting 3 of the webinars a week.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
energetically you're at capacity at that point. But if people
Yes.
can access this webinar 5 days a week, 7 days a week
Mm.
at multiple different times, more people get exposed to it. So even if that conversion rate's lower, I'm hoping that it still works out, in the
Mm.
positive. And again, it's
Yeah.
like that saves you. I mean, if we're talking about that webinar is 90 minutes, and then you're staying an extra half an hour, and then you're prepping it, and then you're energetically drained. So it kind of knocks off a couple hours. That saves a ton of time too.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so that is the next big move.
Yeah. There is software that you can use. Like I don't remember exactly which one it is, but it emulates that live feeling. So it'll like record when people did stuff in the chat and have that popping up so it feels live. So even though the person it's on demand, it still can feel like that. So
Yeah.
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 That
Easy Webinar is one that I've heard
is
does
it.
that really
Mm.
well. So I'm definitely looking into Easy Webinar. The only thing, and I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into it. I haven't looked into it. I've
Yeah.
been on webinars like that, and I guess
Yeah.
similar to live, you can't pause it and go back. But
Mm.
I've always been like I'm such a note taker. So these
Yeah.
things are going and you can't pause them. And I'm like, ugh, I wish I could just pause and take notes. So that
Yeah.
aspect, I'm like, oh, I don't love it, but I guess it's similar to live.
Mm.
People can't stop and do that. But I
Yeah.
do like also that within those systems, you're able to see when people dropped off. You're able to
Mm.
see different things like that. So that's going to help, I think, transform that webinar? If you see that there's a certain point that a lot of people are dropping off, how can you
Mm.
adjust or add something in there to make it better? Right
Yeah.
now, I currently have my 12-year-old daughter attending every single webinar that I run. And she
Yeah.
actually, this is awful, but she has pencil and paper and she writes down the list of attendees and she writes when they entered, when they exited on this little like spreadsheet.
Oh,
So
really?
she is manually doing the job of easy webinar for me. Bless her. Bless her. She does it every single time. She does all the tech in the background of the webinars as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. A
Oh,
little personal
yeah.
assistant. I tell
Yeah,
them like,
yeah,
I am paying you, girlfriend. I'm paying you in food. I'm paying you in vacations later on. Like, that's your payment.
yeah. Oh, there's a question that I forgot to ask actually way back when you said, like, you talked about the three launches. I was just wondering, like, how have you gone, like, with the repeating, like, how, like, the way that I was taught for launching is like repeating works really well. And like it can be like, for some people, the people who don't buy initially, it's like when you get to that third launch, then like that's when you see even like bigger conversion rates. I know you sort of said the numbers have been a bit varying, but have you seen like sort of an upward trajectory of conversions over the 3 months? Or if you don't mind sharing that?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure I clarify the question a little bit. So
Yeah.
that is, are you talking about, so for example, if I'm launching this month, this week is launch week, I have 3 different times. I'm emailing my list.
Mm.
Is the question of, do I see more people from my list signing up?
Just like people converting into the paid program, like has, or actually, I guess it is, are you seeing more people signing up and then are you seeing more people converting into the paid program? Like, is it sort of you're getting the benefit of the repetition and, people are more familiar with it and maybe they didn't sign up for the first time, but then they see like, the success stuff and the testimonials from last time and they're like, oh yeah, now I'm interested. Like, I have a real habit, maybe because I'm a marketer, but like I hardly ever somebody's first launch, but by second or third, then I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I've got the money ready and it's an easier sell. Like, and I'm like, yeah, here I am. But if they hadn't done the first two launches, then I might not have, been as interested. Like, but a lot of people don't want to repeat the launches. So I guess, yeah, both on signups and then on conversions is what I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way I structure it now, and I'm still playing with it because it's still
Mm.
pretty new. We're only 3 months in, so I
Yeah.
have about 3 months of data here, so it's not a
Yeah.
ton yet.
Yeah.
But the way that I've structured it so far is when someone comes onto my email list, they get tagged with the month and year that they joined. So
Mm.
when I'm sending out, so like I said, I get about 280, 325 people coming in every single month. They're going to get tagged with that tag.
Mm.
When I go to launch that webinar, I'm launching to that new list of about 300 people. So my entire email list isn't getting, hey, I have this
Mm.
webinar, only because I'm launching every month.
Yeah.
I send out a 5 email sequence for leading up to the webinar. So what I wouldn't want to do is every fourth week, these people are getting this exact same like sequence over and
Mm.
over again. With
Yeah.
that being said, though, I think I'm going to have a point that I'm circling back. So the people
Mm.
that joined in June, they're
Yeah.
not going to get the July and the August, but they might get, September, October type of
Hmm.
thing, so that they're going to see it more than once,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not every single month.
Yeah. 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 But that works out well, like I think. I mean, like I said, maybe it's because I'm a marketer, so I have a skewed thing of this, but like I watch people's launches and like, like I'll be in the first time and I'll be in the second time and I'll still sign up for the third time and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to
Yeah.
buy now. Like, I can't help it. And like even though the emails are the same and I know they're going to be the same, I'm just like, yeah, it's part of my process for some like, high ticket programs I'm talking kind of stuff. So yeah.
And just out of curiosity, when you say that, are you meaning that you see their launch emails, but you don't attend like the webinar, or do you attend the webinar multiple times and then buy?
Yeah, so it just depends. Like oftentimes it depends on the offer and the person and how long I've been following them for. So like sometimes it's like, I'm well-meaning and it's like, oh yeah, the first time around I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be part of that. But then I'm in the middle of a lot of things, so then I don't get to the event, but I see the emails. And then, or maybe I get to the event and I see, the emails, but I don't have the money to invest, but I'm getting it sorted so that then second time round or third time I'm ready to go. So like I like that the repetition of that kind of thing. So like it yeah,
Yeah.
the quick answer is it just depends. And like if I've seen all of the like the webinar or something, unless I know something's changed, then I might not reattend that. But if I've signed up, it's because I'm like serious, like I'm considering buying and yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that
yeah.
that's a good, I like that you share that perspective because that further makes me be like, yes, I need to loop back and this is not a one and done, that they should be
Mm,
seeing this at least quarterly,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
invitation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so right
Yeah.
now I'm sending out because I'm sending them out the week before. The way I have it structured, like I said, is the three all in one week. They have three different time options. Then they're getting the lead up emails the week before. So it's a 5 email sequence. Here are 3 times next week. Choose your one that works for you, if one does.
Yes.
But what I'm working on now, again, is trying to think, okay, how can we get that so I'm not doing that manually? Is that what I've built in my email sequences? They're going to come through the welcome sequence. They're going to come through a direct sales sequence. And then I have it that they're getting a month of nurture emails, just once a week nurture emails. And then they're getting that 5 part sales sequence. So, or
Nice.
the
Yeah.
5 part webinar registration
Mm,
sequence. So it would be just as easy to say, okay, send the 5 part webinar registration sequence, pause for 90 days. After 90 days, resend this sequence. So that can all be
yeah.
done behind the scenes so that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that every 90 days, once someone comes through my welcome sequence, every 90 days, they're going to get an invitation to the masterclass unless they've already attended, which then they'd get tagged and removed.
Mm, yeah. I'm not sure that like I'd wait the 90 days because like for me, I mean, like if they know that it's happening monthly, like I'd give them the option to do you want to join in for the next round? Like maybe it wasn't the times weren't right for them that month, but it could be the next month and like they're still warmed up. So
Yeah.
possibly if you wait the 90 days, they're getting colder and then it's yeah. So like just
Yeah.
give them
And
that
this is
option
like
of
the perfect. This is perfect because I'm like, this is entrepreneurship, is it not?
yes.
It's like experimenting because none of us, like, we have an idea, like, we're obviously coming at things with some sort of reason why we're doing it, but nobody knows what's right. You have to play and you have to experiment and like, it's that's what I love. It's what I love, and it's also the part that makes you hold on to the roller coaster, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But I love that. I love that seeing it more frequently. And that's the other
Yeah.
thing. And like we get so many emails every single day. So
Mm,
a lot of people
yes.
go, "Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I just emailed them about XYZ and like, can I do it again?" People don't remember. Like
Yeah.
we are
Oh yeah.
amazing. We are all lovely, but nobody remembers us. No. No, but
Yeah.
people don't remember to the extent that we assume that they do.
Yes. Yeah.
So resending it is probably not going to annoy people. It's going to be a gentle reminder that, this is what you're doing.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you can always do one of those things of don't want to hear emails about this, click
Yes.
here, and then you add a tag that just says, and you don't include them in the future emails or something like
Right.
that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
good too. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So much to think about now. So much to think about.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I know that we just need to finish up, but I have one last question because I
Yes.
realize we've been talking about email marketing and I haven't once asked you about the tech or, which software you like. Do you have ones that you like, ones that you don't like? Like, I think it's all a very personal decision, but I have like a small low-key hatred for MailChimp. So, from your perspective,
Yeah. So I use ConvertKit. I love
me
it.
too. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I was actually initially just sending through my websites hosted through Wix. So like
Mm,
very bare bones, I started sending through my Wix website, very quickly graduated out of that. It just does not have the analytics, the automations that I need,
mm,
that I wanted really. So
yeah.
really, I think this just goes to show like my decision making. I didn't do massive research. I said, what is the one platform that I hear a lot of people talking about that they really like? Seems to be ConvertKit. Let me go ahead and try it, see what I think. If I love it, I'll stick with it. If not, I don't. I've been
Yeah.
on it for probably about a year now. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think from the beginning, the other big factor for me with ConvertKit is I had already learned a lot through their blog. They have an
Mm,
amazing blog, and I'm like, any company that is already teaching me things prior to ever signing on them, with them, that's huge for me. So that was a big check mark for them. And then the other part was just it's aesthetically pleasing. Like their
Mm.
website is
Yeah,
clean. It doesn't look overly techy or I don't like it just is lovely to look at. And I
yeah.
knew the amount that I was going to be using email in my business, and I didn't want to feel like, ugh, I'm walking into this like ugly environment every single time I have to hit send. So that was also a huge factor.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that, and I love that you didn't take a ton of time to like look at all the different options. My clients get a bit frustrated because I'm just like, yeah, I just chose this because I liked the way it looked, and like, I have a background in IT. I could overanalyze all the options, and I've used many of them for client work and things like that. But yeah, I still keep coming back to ConvertKit. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm.
It's great. And it's just like, try it. If you love it,
Mm.
stick with it. If you don't, move on, you
Yeah.
know? Eh.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I've had nothing but great things to say about it so far.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for all of the amazing. I've enjoyed this discussion so much. I'm so psyched. I'm like, oh, let's go write emails next. Like, let's do
You
this.
should. I'm gonna actually hold you to that one email that we talked about. You should
So
write that.
yeah, yeah. It's been tracking in my mind. So yeah, I'm excited to write that one. Okay, so thank you so much for all of your advice. We will, of course, have links to all of your stuff in the show notes, and you need to send me that extra link so I can add that in as well. Your blog about handling unsubscribers. I'll put that in there as well. And for those people who are like me, who are like, screw the show notes, I just want to go into Instagram or wherever right now, where's the best place for people to connect with you and yeah, follow along with all of the good email marketing and all the good stuff that you do?
Yeah, so there's two places really that they could find me. Number one, my most active social media channel is Instagram. So it's just at AMYKUPH. So at Amy Koof. Connect on there for sure. Hit me up in the DMs. I'm always happy to chat with people. And then as well, if they would like a free gift, it's called the Write Better Emails mini course. And that's just right on my website. So it's amykufal.com/write dash better dash emails. That will get you a little email mini course. It's also going to get you onto my list where every single Tuesday I send email tips, tricks, inspiration to hopefully help make email marketing a whole lot more simple and more fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Is the Write Better emails, is that in the links in the show notes? Like I know you sent
Yeah,
it to me, I
yeah,
just haven't gone and looked at all of the details yet.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, is there any last piece of advice for people doing brave things or anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think just get started. I think the main thing, and I think if we think about what all, at least for me, came out of this conversation is we're human. The people on our list are human. We're going to make
Yeah.
mistakes, so are they. And I think that in a time where a lot of people are very polished and we have this very robotic writing, the more that we can show up flawed and authentic, the more we're actually going to succeed. That's not something that should be hiding. I think it's something that we should be putting at the forefront because it's going to draw our people in.
Mm, yeah. Oh my gosh, I agree with that so much. And yeah, just get started. Or I did something recently where it was just like, you know what? Just write the terrible post. Just post the terrible post. And
Yeah.
had a lot of people go, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, let's do this."
And it's always the ones that I'm like, this is not that great. Like the ones that I'm less people resonate with, I get more replies. The ones that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the best thing. So I think that's even more reason to just say, like, get up at bat, like just try
Yeah.
your best because you really don't know what's going to land.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so true. Okay, thank you so much, Amy. This has been amazing. And yeah, I'm so inspired.
Thank you. It was it's so good being on here having this conversation with you.
Okay, sorry, just at the end of this, I just realized I just asked Amy in the post chat, where do you stand on double opt-ins?
This is like such a fire question. Oh my gosh. Because people will get heated. We were talking before we hit record on politics. Like, all right, people are going to get heated on politics. People are going to get even more heated when we start talking about double opt-ins. So, where do I stand on this? Ooh, I might get some haters here, but I'm going to say it. When I first joined with my email service provider, they have a big thing that
Hmm.
says, yes, always do double opt-ins. The reason being, one, it's double consent. Okay, so
Yeah,
there's this consent piece, yes, part of the double opt-ins. There's also the piece of what's called the list bombing. So if you have bots or spammers that are going to just mass submit things onto your opt-in. So say that you have your web page, you have this, fill in your email address here, click submit. You could all of a sudden, theoretically have your account be list bombed, and you're going to get all of these weird, and you'll probably recognize them because it might be like letters and numbers and these email addresses that people probably wouldn't have created for themselves. So very likely if you see a huge spike in your, email subscribers, bunch of weird email addresses, you're going to know that happened. You're just going to have to do a little bit of work cleaning that out, getting rid of those people, because they're very likely going to be cold subscribers because they're bots. They're not going to open up any future emails. So on the pro side of double opt-ins, it's going to get that double consent. It's going to get making sure that you're not getting list bombed through bots or anything like that. On the other side, though, the reality is I don't use it. So we'll just start there. I don't use double opt-ins because someone that's entering my list has signed up for my newsletter either on my website or they've signed up for my freebie. I make it really easy for people to unsubscribe. That button's always big and clear at the bottom. I also am really, really on top of my cold subscribers. So with ConvertKit, I'm sure every single email service provider has this. But with the click of a dropdown, I can go in and see what subscribers haven't opened up a single email or touched anything in a month. And they're going to be listed as cold subscribers. So I see that right away. I'm always looking at that. On the back end, without me doing anything, I have mine automated where if someone gets cold for 180 days, so 180 days have passed, they have not opened up a single one of my emails, they're going to get put into a re-engagement sequence. It's a 2-part sequence saying, hey, are we good? Do you still want to be on the list? If they still don't touch either of those emails, they're automatically unsubscribed. So I have a system in place that's automatically cleaning my list. I am thinking about making it way less than 180 days because I think that's a long time. If someone hasn't opened a thing of mine, they've got my freebie, never bothered to open my freebie, and never bothered to open anything else, they don't want to be on my list. The chances of that person buying anything from me in the future, having not opened, not even opened, never mind clicked, not even opened anything for 180 days, that flags that probably either the inbox is totally slammed or it's getting routed to a folder that they're likely never going to see. So all it's doing at that point, it's hurting my open rate and then decreasing my deliverability. So even though that's in the back end of my own business at 180 days, I can't even help myself. Every 30 days I go in and I look at my cold subscriber list and I manually put them all. It's usually like 20 or so a month. I manually tag them as cold, which puts them into that re-engagement sequence. So, I think that, I don't know. I think you could go either way. I will just say from a personal standpoint, I don't use double opt-ins right now.
Oh, that makes me feel better because like I haven't ever enjoyed the double opt-in process. Like even as somebody like getting on someone's list, like I understand why and the safety concerns, but I'm just always like, oh, again, like I already decided. And
Well, that's how I feel too.
I tend to attract a lot of like, neuro spicy or just, like people are busy. And if they said yes once, let's assume that they mean yes. And so,
that's 100% my thought too. And I just think with the double opt-in, there's a risk of them missing that second email. So they really want your thing. They've opted into your lead magnet. They're waiting for it to come and they've clicked the one thing, but then they have to click it's just like you said, even whether we're busy, whether there's neurodivergence, there's so many chances that that's missed. I'd rather give them the opportunity. They've said they wanted to be on the list. They're on the list and then they can opt out at any point.
I love that.
People are going to hate us, but it's the truth. No.
I'm glad because I mean I learned this stuff years ago and then like I haven't gotten back into it to find out like what's the new updates and what are people saying now and things like that. And ConvertKit's made it harder to turn that double opt-in off. So
it's definitely it's on by default, but I went in and just changed it.
If you're a new coach who's ready to finally sign your first 2 high-ticket clients, but you're stuck wondering what you're missing then the Brave Coach Breakthrough is for you. It's my 3-month one-on-one coaching program where we blend strategy and mindset to help you confidently sign clients without feeling salesy. Spots are limited. Book your free strategy call now to see if this is the right fit for you. Come over to tiffanyGstudios.com, Tiffany G for golf, Studios.com, or find me over on Instagram at Tiffany G Studios and DM me the word breakthrough to get a link to book your call. Let's get you paid to coach and change lives. Thanks for listening to the Business Bravery podcast. Has this episode inspired you to do something brave? Even if it's only send a difficult email, please share it with me on Instagram or other social media channels. Feel free to tag me at Tiffany G Studios. That's Tiffany G for golf, Studios, no spaces, no underscores, etc. Or you can use the hashtag Business Bravery Podcast so that I can cheer you on and together we can inspire other coaches and course creators to do brave things in their business and life. Now, I'm Tiffany and I'll leave you with this one last thing. What's one brave thing you're going to do today? It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest steps can create the most massive results. So again, feel free to share it with me either publicly or privately so that I can cheer you on. That's it from me. Until next time, bye for now.